Hey, 7th graders, Mr. Allard here with another one of your flip lessons. Today we are doing number 1-5. Alright, sorry, I don't know why it's getting all buggy like that, but we'll keep going. So, first part of Cerc. So right here, we're writing claim, okay? We've talked about this. Rag the question. If it gives you an essay question, just rag it. That's going to become your claim. So if the question says, explain a similarity or difference between the two documents in the Erie Canal, your claim will just be something simple. If you're going to say they're similar, just say, these two documents about the Erie Canal are similar. Okay? Clear answer. We're not explaining anything yet. You do not have the word because in a claim statement. You do not say these two documents are similar because blah, 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 blah. Then what happens is this is why 7th graders take what should be a 5 to 7 sentence well-written paragraph and turn it into 3 sentences of gobbledygook. Okay? Clear claim. Rag the question. If it tells you, according to the documents, what was the main cause of the American Revolution? The main cause of the American Revolution was, boom, stop. No explanation, a clear answer. This is your claim. This is what you're going to prove. This is one sentence. No because, not a lot of ands, no explanation. Our evidence. Here's where we can start kind of providing a little evidence or providing a little explanation. Number one, you're not just going to say, boop, here's my evidence. Okay? What you're going to have to do is come up with some way of introducing it, right? Maybe you talk about what's happening in the time period. Maybe you talk about what's happening in the document, okay? So if we look at, we're going to talk a lot about this with our Erie Canal documents, but those two documents that we're looking at right now talk about how bridges are low, right? So you may talk about, the Erie Canal was built to better transport goods. This is where that outside information comes in, okay? Then you're going to put your evidence in there. So whatever your evidence is, it has to be from the text. And the thing that 7th graders struggle with is it has to support your claim. All right? It's not just something from the text because we need to put something in from the text. It's something from the text that supports our claim. So if we're explaining why the American Revolution happened, the text better explain why the revolution happened. If we're explaining a social impact of the Erie Canal, the text better explain the social impact of the Erie Canal, etc. Okay, if we're trying to explain why peanut butter jelly sandwiches are the best, we need to be able to explain why peanut butter jelly sandwiches are the best. It's that simple. Okay, you must cite the document. This isn't yours. Okay, for social studies, it's real simple. All you got to do is hug your document. So you take your parentheses, document 1, document 2, document A, whatever it be, at the end, and we'll talk about how doing that. We don't have to get in depth. It's slightly different than what you have to do in ELA. But ELA is slightly different than social studies, right? All your subjects are slightly different. So, evidence has to support your claim. Usually it's the purpose of your SOAPs. That's why it's so important to always SOAPs your documents. And most time we're always going to be writing something using documents. And you must cite the document itself. Reasoning. So again, we're not getting on the because train in your evidence. Okay? We're not going to say that here's this is the evidence that proves it because. No, you're not even going to say this is the evidence. Introduction, evidence. Your reasoning. So R is going into this box right up here. Okay? Your reasoning. Here is where you start to explain your evidence and specifically how that evidence supports your claim. You need to either A, further answer the question that was given to you. Maybe, depending on how the question was given to you, either prove it or disprove it, depending on what you said in your claim, or, depending on what you said in your claim, you may be explaining why you used this particular piece of evidence. For example, if we're using our examples from class with the Erie Canal, right? So we may have, we talk about how they're similar. Both documents explain how, Erie Canal bridges were low. Then our next sentence kind of explains the Erie Canal a little bit. The Erie Canal was built in order to ship goods faster, quicker, and cheaply, and it had created a major impact. Okay. Then we take our evidence, right? We take our evidence, as document 1 explains, bridges were so low, boom. As document 2 explains, in the song they had to shout out blank when the bridge was coming low. Whatever. Now we've got to explain it. Okay? Why do these things similar? Well, one was created this time period, one was created after. Obviously, they were using evidence to support that. Okay? You're obviously going to explain it a little bit better than that. But depending on what the question is. So let's say the question was, is the Erie Canal song historically accurate? Okay, your claim would be, yes, the Erie Canal song is historically accurate. And then you'd go into explaining it. In the reasoning part, you would explain how, right, that primary source document shares the low bridge with the song. That would be a way to do reasoning. I know that's kind of convoluted. We're not going to really explain this and you're like, oh, yeah, that's how you do it. We're going to do this by doing, okay? But explain how your evidence connects back to your claim. Conclusion. Restate the claim in your own words, right? So if we had at the top, you know, the Erie Canal song is historically accurate, you may say, you know, according to the evidence provided, the Erie Canal song was, you know, is supported by primary source evidence. Something like that, okay? Just off the top of my head, we'd probably take a little bit more time to think about that. You can give a little summary of your reasoning, right? You know, based on the two documents' research, the Erie Canal song uses primary source evidence in explaining what it was like on the canal. Okay? And then maybe add something new, right? Here's where you could say, you know, even in the 1900s, the Erie Canal was still important to travel, business, etc. Okay? Something new to it. That's going to be your conclusion. This is where you end it. If we look at this all together, okay, this is probably not going to be 3 to 4 sentences. This is probably going to be, you know, up near that 7 to 10 sentence explanation. And that's fine. If you're doing all of your parts, you will be fine with this. All right, that's our flip lesson for today. I know it was a little confusing in some of the explanations there, but trust me, we're going to iron all this out in class when we write about our 2 documents we've soaped so far. Okay? If you have any questions, as always, hit me up on Schoology. If you missed anything, come see me 9th period. I am available today. Until next time, Allard out.